All right, so we're here today. Chris Wheeler, VOV episode one, pilot episode
Pilot.
actually. Just trying this out. Um, Chris, so I've known you for a little while now. I know a little bit about you, but I want to use this VOV project platform, specifically for people that kind of just want to like get their name out there, or just are in the industry or in the sport, and they kind of just want to have a sounding board to just kind of like tell what they're doing, or what they've been doing, or what they love about the sport, or anything like that. And when I say the sport, I mean any martial art. This is primarily just going to be about martial arts. So you in general, like me and you train jiu-jitsu together. You're also the wrestling coach here at Anchor Jiu-Jitsu, which everybody can see right behind. That's the logo here, as well as a collegiate wrestler and high school wrestler. If you can, I mean, if you can elaborate a little bit on your history.
Yeah. I started wrestling Freebirds Wrestling Club in the 8th grade. That was Lancaster, California, so Lancaster High School. And then that was under Patrick Hayhurst, who was an old-fashioned guy, a little bigger guy. So I don't know if you ever noticed, I kind of wrestle heavy. Like,
I do notice
yeah, I
that.
like to sit in a squared stance a lot. I like to work heavy hands, right? And I honestly, I have heavy feet too. So like later in the rounds, if you want to get me when I got some heavy feet. Right? But after that, I wrestled my freshman year, half of it with Lancaster High School. Ended up transferring to Cradle City Highland High School under Stuart
Is that
Young
really
and
that's
Michael
not really
Young.
a city, right? Cradle City
Cradle
is.
City, baby. No, I'm from the Pinhouse, dude. That's Michael Young's gymnasium, Highland High School, Palmdale, California. 661, right?
Get it.
Yeah, you got to shout out the 661 if you're from there, right?
Okay.
But you never want to go back there once you're out of there. That's kind of like a golden rule. Um, but yeah, man. So I really wasn't supposed to wrestle in college. Um, I was just looking for a way out of my situation, my family stuff, and I just didn't like where I was at. I didn't want to be like stuck in that bubble. I
Mm.
didn't want to just be another guy that existed in the sport when I know I had more to give. So I did what I could. I recorded myself. I recorded my matches. I sent them out to coaches. I did what I was supposed to do to get seen by anybody that would see me. Ended up ended up going to the same school as a lot of local guys did, NAIA. It was in the middle of nowhere, but we wrestled with some killers. I got to work with some of like the highest level strength and conditioning guys. I got to work with some of the highest level wrestlers that I've ever been in the room with. So um, just having the opportunity to be out there and um, get that feel really impacts your game in a room like this, right? So um, I can't say I was the best guy, but I got killer hand fighting. I've really been locking in on my defensive stuff. Um, and then I realized that like from my defense, my offense can like kind of go to work, right? People kind of set themselves up off of poor offense or just really good defense. So um, I honestly think that my style is exciting, right? But there's some things that I need to tighten up, which is why I get to work with like your brother, who's like Mr. Highlight Reel, Mr. Gun Show,
He
right?
is, yeah.
So um, my goal is to be entertaining enough to catch the right people's eyes.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, yeah. So transitioning from, high school to college wrestling, and then now, primarily focusing on jiu-jitsu and grappling, like what do you think is like your biggest, or the biggest differences between the two, I guess?
Okay, so in high school, you can kind of get away with being like a little fragile, right? Like you can kind of give up some things, and like other guys will give up some things. In college, every other match you're wrestling a guy that was like somebody. So or maybe you're not. Maybe you're wrestling a guy with something to prove, right?
Oh, so when you say somebody, you mean like they were somebody in high school?
Yeah,
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 they were like
exactly.
they were the top dog
Or
in high
there's
school.
somebody in college now, right?
Okay.
So you can't go out there expecting like an easy match from anybody, because odds are someone's gonna like, someone's going out there to prove a point, right? Someone's going out there to score 6. Someone's going out there to score for their team. Someone's going out there to, just pad their record. So, college was a different animal altogether, right? A different scoring system, and like different drills altogether. So, I would say what separates the two is repetition, right? Strength and conditioning comes naturally, right? You get it from wrestling, but like I've never been in better shape, but I've never been like more close to like, you know, I've never been more edgy, right? Because
What do you mean by that?
in a room full of type A's, man, like just a bunch of like corn-fed like killers, everybody wants to start, everybody wants mat time, right? Even in like a smaller room, it's that competitive environment, right? So, and I was fortunate enough to be around a lot of All-Americans in and out of the room. So, I was getting thumped, dude. I would get thumped here. I'd get thumped. Pause. Hold on. Like, I would get beat up.
Okay.
Like, I would legit get beat up. I would leave practice with like big old scratches on my ears, right? My eyes would be like all swollen. My face bruises easy, right? So, you were going in to, one, not get messed up, and then two, like if I don't get messed up, but I'm not messing someone up, I'm not doing anybody a service to anybody, right? So I need to be the one doing the messing up, right? And some days you could ramp it up, right? Some days you would break, right? And like that's just the reality of the situation. A lot of guys are like, "Oh no, they'll never break me. They'll never break me." I guarantee you, like that head coach has seen them on the floor, like fuck, like oh, what just fucking happened,
Right.
Like it's just the reality of the situation. And I was kind of a head case in college too, so like not the best family situation, right? I was so far away from everything. I had no idea what was going on. And, I also had surgeries that like I did by myself. Right. So,
Real quick. So you said you were from Palmdale, and what, actually, maybe I missed it, but what college did you say you were at?
Dakota Wesleyan University.
Which is?
Go Tigers. That's NAIA. I'm an NAIA boy.
Okay.
So
is that North Dakota?
South Dakota.
So when you say you were away, like you were really away.
Yeah. Like away.
Yeah.
And then like, not to get too personal, but like that like messed me up, and like I had no idea what was going on. I was kind of in my own bubble. And then like trying to keep up with the demand for college wrestling that, required so much focus. Just it was a lot to manage, right? So did I perform the best? No, but like it is what it is, got to kind of reevaluate after the fact and see what you can make out of it now. So I don't hold it like too personally that I didn't go too far.
Right.
But I know that like there was a lot more for me there. So if I just tightened up on some of like the more emotional things. So
I mean, I still think you went, obviously farther than most, and you went farther than a lot of people would have. I mean, I'm sorry, you went farther than a lot of people did that wanted to go farther.
Absolutely, and a lot of people could have gone farther than me, right? But the fact is, like, I walked. I walked. I didn't want to like just be the guy that was like talking like I could have wrestled in college. I was gonna go.
Right.
I was gonna make it. I was gonna go make it happen. Yeah. So I got 4 years out there. Still owe money for that degree though. But so then I joined the Air Force. Then that didn't work out. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are doing jiu-jitsu now.
Doing jiu-jitsu,
grappling,
living the dream, getting back into shape.
Right. So I mean, you train here primarily at Anchor Jiu-Jitsu in Chino, and then like you're obviously wearing a 10 Planet Palmdale rash guard.
Yep, 661. No,
so, I mean, you're all for like going to different places and cross training and everything like that.
Yeah. So very early on, like back in like 2019, when I went to go roll at a couple gyms, I saw their faces like go flush when I was like, "Oh yeah, I was training over here." Or like I was training over here. They were like, "Okay, but like that's not like typically okay. Like they kind of give you like a weird look sometimes.
Mm.
And like that just never made sense in the wrestling world, right? In the wrestling world, we trained with everybody. Like, who cares if we were going to wrestle next week? Like, this guy's going to give me like good mat time, right? We're going to get better. And then like once you get past that like local level, you're all friends. You know, like you're all cheering each other on, trying to like get to the next level. And then like once you get past that stage, it's even more concentrated, right? You're only trying to bring people up that are around you, right? Um, People are just a little more clicky in jujitsu, I've noticed, but I think that gets better with like the rash guard. You know, we cross train with a lot of 10th Planet guys, and we cross train with a lot of like Zenith guys. Like we're personally a Zenith gym, a Zenith affiliate. So that's under Robert Drysdale, and that. But Tillis, not too far from here, right? Sector's bunch of killers. Love you guys. Honestly, I just love combat sports. So anybody that loves combat sports, like my dudes.
Right.
So sorry.
No, I feel the same. I think there's been a lot of cases where people frown upon cross training, and yeah, I never understood it either.
I think it just gives you like a limited perspective, right? So like you got to look at everybody's like styles, right? Like what can be added to my style? Is this guy limiting me like from reaching my potential? Because in some cases I felt like that, right? I do my best when I'm a little more creative, right? But sometimes I wasn't always defensively sound enough to be creative, right? So that's why like as I've gotten away from some coaches, I've had to implement and re-implement some things from some other coaches, right? That just happens with evolution of your game, right? You should be filtering in and out, but how can you do that from only one lens? You
No,
know?
I agree. I agree. And luckily, like I think in my small time in combat sports, I've come across people that don't really mind, the cross training or whatnot,
Yeah.
and it's been nothing but beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you say you train at uh, or when you went with other coaches and you had to like take away some of the stuff they showed you and implement stuff, what'd you say you
Like
took you
it's
took
as
away
simple as like
some and
a
added some from what you learned previously or something like that? Like,
well, yeah, like but realistically, like a coach is supposed to look at you and be like, hey, this is probably better for you, right?
mm,
So let's go with this. And then in wrestling, you have to be a lot more strict on technique, right? You have to be like stingy on positions. So um, it wasn't always like, hey, how do we get to this position to finish here? Because we know you can finish from this position. It was, hey, let's do this setup to get to this position instead, right? I'm not hitting that setup, right? So I'm not getting to my single leg, regardless,
mm.
right? But you want me to hit that setup so bad, and if you see me hit this one, like I feel like I'm gonna get punished, you know that
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying
like
there.
let's
Yeah,
build
yeah,
let's build off it because maybe I can hit it here, boom, or work to something else or like add on to it. Like I work to
like
hit
things
this,
don't have to
go
be so
here.
rigid.
Yeah, like because at the end of the day, um, like how do you get a name in the sport, right? Like entertainment,
Mm.
be creative. So if I'm just defending the same single leg, right, the same way that everybody's fucking defending the same single leg, stuffing it, being defensive, right, instead of looking to attack, I'm not I'm not putting myself out there to the best of my ability, right? So like I've literally tried to emphasize entertainment, right? That's like the funnest thing. Like looking over around and like other people looking at you, right? That's like so cool. So
Yeah, I can tell when
mm-hmm.
you're rolling the little videos you post and just your overall style. Like I've watched you compete, not in person, but like seeing the videos
Yeah,
played
dude. And
back
I give
and
up some stupid shit sometimes, but that's okay, right? Not okay when you're like training for like high level competition, but
right.
like I want to put myself in as many positions as possible.
Mm.
So it's okay if I give up something here and there, but
But you got to put yourself in the fire. I feel sometimes,
Oh, absolutely. Like if you're not, you can't meet Jesus if you don't go to church, right?
Sure, dude. Yeah.
You can't meet Jesus if you don't go to church.
Okay.
Straight up. So, like I just want to feel out every position, get comfortable. So, um, and I don't really care for like the belt system. Like I care about like I think I'm pretty good in these positions, and if I get to these positions, I think I can finish there. So
That's kind of crazy. You mentioned that. Like I have recently come across that seems to be an attitude with a lot of people right now in jiu-jitsu, where nobody, quote, cares about the belts.
I mean, it matters.
Yeah.
It definitely matters, right? It matters in a traditional like martial artist sense. I feel like that's like a career goal, but from a competitive perspective, I should feel like I can take anybody out, right?
I agree with that.
So, like I can't say like I'm a no stripe white belt, like and with a straight face. It's like a running gag at this point. But I don't get consistent training enough to where I can focus on the gi. So, um,
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask you too. Was gi or no gi?
dude, the gi is whack. Okay. That's not true. Actually, some of like the coolest stuff I've seen is in the gi, and I do have love for the gi. Let's be honest though, like the fun stuff, it's right here. So, no, honestly, train the gi, train both, but no gi's where the party's at, right?
I agree. I agree.
But your 10th planet, right? Your 10th planet. I'm wearing 10th planet.
That's so funny.
But as a Zenith guy, right? Like, the gi has done a lot for my game as far as like just establishing control, establishing position over like just rushing and floating, right? Because that's what I did for like the first couple months was just like establish position, pass, pass, pass. Oh, hopefully I find something here. Now it's like, okay, I can cook you here, right? So once you're cooked, boom, now everything else is so easy.
Right.
So, boom.
Yeah, it's cool, man. So like, I know you emphasize on, quote, entertainment. I know you want to,
Hello.
kind of get more and more known in the sport of no-gi grappling and jiu-jitsu.
It'd be cool.
I mean, yeah, it would be cool. But so like, how do you, I guess, where do you kind of see yourself, I guess, in the next like few years then, if that's what you're trying to go for, like how long do you think that's going to take you to get noticed? Or like, what is the plan to get noticed for that? Like, are you planning to compete a lot? Are you planning to, just, become more and more active on social? Like,
I mean, it starts with the social media just because, like, you know, that's the easiest place to start. Like, I can post every day about myself. That's kind of like douchey. But then, obviously, of course, comes competitions. Right now, I just work so much, right? I got to schedule efficiently, but my goal is to train and compete like crazy. So, um, I, I have to compete. I have to start competing. I have to get active. Right now, I'm walking around pretty light, so um, like 179, 180. So I'm thinking,
there's killers in that weight bracket.
oh, I'm gonna go under. Oh, I'm going down. There's killers everywhere, but
there is killers everywhere.
I'm thinking like optimally, probably like around 160, like 165 ish, walking around.
And that feels good to you?
Yeah, walking around there, 168, shredded, right, ready to strap up.
Ready to rock and roll.
And then, as soon as I feel comfortable, like with my cardio down there, big thing, strength and conditioning, right? Right now, I'm kind of like fragile because I have to ramp that up. So, second, I feel like I'm confident I won't go out there and like get hurt. We can go out there and go for the kill, but I'm not going to be stupid. So,
what do you mean stupid?
I mean, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys don't do any strength and conditioning, which is crazy. They just go out there and get after it, right? But that's how like really bad injuries or really like stupid injuries happen. So for longevity, right, you kind of have to maintain that aspect of things.
I don't know. I feel like you're right, in the sense like there's a lot of jujitsu guys who don't really believe in weightlifting
Yeah,
and
just do
strength,
jujitsu. Just do jujitsu.
and which is great because you'll obviously your skill level will be phenomenal. But I think all the top level guys that you see,
They get after it.
ADCC or flow grappling or whatever, they're definitely implementing a strength and conditioning program.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like local level, like you're just running into potheads.
It's a bold statement. As you're wearing the 10th planet rash guard.
661, baby.
It's so funny. But no, man, let everybody know kind of, your social media handles, when they can find you here, when they can find you, at your other job, which you're also a personal trainer. Um,
Yeah. Man, I hope you guys like this. I'm the head trainer at a weight loss facility in Rancho Cucamonga called RCMC. Shout out to them. And follow me at c.weezus, Wheezus. Yeah, sponsor me. That would be nice, right? I could use some money, so I could work less and compete more for you, right? Um, but yeah, long-term goal is to make grappling my life. Actually, that's not true. I want to start fighting here, but grappling is where I want to get the party started. So there you go.
well, I was going to end it there, but since you wanted to go and say something about MMA,
Oh, let's talk about it.
yeah, I mean, let's talk about it. What do you like? What do you plan on doing then for MMA? Like, as far as when do you plan to start transitioning into MMA training?
I have to give myself. Um, I want to have my first fight scheduled by November of this year. I think that would be great. Um, Obviously, like we have to implement some like hard rules, right? I need to establish a coach and like a team essentially, because I just don't have everything locally right now, so I'm gonna be hopping. So making that fit in with my schedule is gonna be interesting. But the goal is to grow right now, so um, big changes coming soon, right? I just want to start fighting, so that has to become a thing in my life within the next couple months. So
That's awesome. Yeah. So long term goal is MMA. Short term goal and goals right now is to just improve the grappling and the jujitsu and compete.
short term is just put up some highlights on a local level, put up some highlights at a less local level, and then put up some highlights at a national level, and then put up some highlights at an international level. Hopefully win Pan Am's, right? Pan Am's in the gi.
Well, you better start training in
Right?
that gi.
Yeah, I like the gi. People think I don't like the gi, but if you've rolled with me in the gi, you're probably like, oh, what? So, um, like I like to train. I like grappling. I like combat sports, right? I like going for the kill. So, and I like looking cool for people to be like, oh, what, like
Yeah.
like what's that guy doing? So, um, I think if I just keep up training, right, establishing what I'm trying to establish, and building my network, um, good things will keep happening. So this is great, right? This is like one of the coolest things, like just out of pocket, that I've said yes to. So
Well, I'm glad you did, man. It's really cool, and I'm excited about it. Like I said, this is a
hopefully I
episode.
don't have like a lazy eye or something.
No, this is like like I said, this is episode 1. It's a pilot. Just trying to see how this looks, how this feels. And dude, you're phenomenal. You're training so much. You're bound to just get better and better. Speaking of the whole MMA thing, I see you regularly, so we'll start talking more and more about it. We'll figure out kind of like what kind of plan to get you. Me and Scott, of course, our head coach, and yeah, we'll make it happen, dude.
That's the name of the game, man.
But so yeah, c.weezus at Instagram, and what RM what
RCMC.
RCMC.
Real quick, believe in the people that believe in you. There you go.
Awesome. All right, man. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Peace.
Ooh, I'm gonna run off.
I don't think you had to get up.